Hey everybody, welcome back. So glad to have you with us for today's lesson with our wonderful teacher, Bridget Rampton. How nice to be able to see some of our regulars from the class, also to be able to welcome in some new folks. If you haven't already, say hi in the chat. Maybe you're new to the class. Maybe you've taken a break from online lessons and now you're back. As you can see, it's a wonderfully friendly group. You're in good hands with the teacher, with other folks here. We'll all keep learning together. We'll all keep supporting each other. This chat is where you can respond to Bridget's questions and you can ask your own questions of Bridget. And please don't hold back. Your engagement, your involvement in the class really helps us all learn, including folks who aren't able to be here live but are watching by replay. You might have the same question that they have in their head. So we're counting on you to ask it, to be the one to ask it. If you have the questions, very likely that other folks will too. Let's just have fun. If we're having fun, we'll be learning. Works well together. Hey, Wendy, Jay Brown, Sandra, Jeanette, Shauna. Still can't get used to Shauna without the sleepy before it. I like it though. Chris, hey, Bridget. Other folks here who haven't yet jumped in the chat, please do. Now, one request of you before we get started. If you run into tech trouble, which can happen to the best of us, a couple tips and a request. First, don't leave tech trouble in the live chat. That's really for bridge learning. Instead, this is what I'd like you to do so that we don't distract the others. If you run into any trouble, first, wait a second, see if things improve. Sometimes, who knows, it might be an airplane passing overhead or who knows, a bird flying, landing on a wire. I don't know. If things don't smooth themselves out, you can try refreshing the web page by clicking on that circular arrow you probably see in the top left or right of your screen, or just close that window and enter again from the email that I send you. If those don't work, you can try using the backup link, which is also in the email I send you before each lesson. And it's on the members page. In the class page, you'll see a link that looks something like that. Try that backup link. 95% of the time, if someone is having trouble, one of those things will work. If they're not working, then reply to any of the emails I send you from LearnBridge Online. You'll reach me personally. I'm over at the support desk. Then I can help you out privately. We won't distract from the fun. Other folks won't have to hear about whatever weird thing is happening. And I'll be able to help and ask some more details about what you're experiencing. There's also a support widget, which you will likely see in the bottom left corner of the screen. You can click on that to reach me. That's for tech support. Don't leave your bridge questions there. I promise I will lead you astray. Bridge questions go in the live chat right underneath me right now. All right, I think that's it. I think that's all the housekeeping. All the regulars know that already, so thank you guys for humoring me while I run through it real fast. I'm starting the recording now. Ask folks, if you don't hear me say I'm starting the recording, ask why not, because we want to make sure that this lesson is recorded and there for you in the lesson library, just like they all are. Okay, here we go. The recording is active. Warm welcome to everyone in the class joining by replay. We'd love to hear what you think about this class. If you have questions about it, leave them for Bridget on the class page. You'll see a button that says Bridge Questions. Click on that, or just scroll to the bottom of the class page, and you'll see an area where you can type in a question about today's lesson for Bridget, and we can all keep learning together there. Okay. Yeah, and maybe next week you can join us live. We can hope. Okay, let's get to it, right? Angela, so glad you could be with us. Let's call our teacher on up to the stage. I'm going to invite her up right now.
Good morning. Yeah, hi there, Bridget. How are you?
Doing good. Should be fun.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to welcome some new folks into the class and to continue with this series, which has been really so wonderful, challenging, but so helpful.
Great. Cool. So we've been doing some really good work on communication. Last week, we looked on communication for the declarer. This week, we're focusing a bit more on trying to break the communication of the defense.
I feel like, yeah, we get to put on our villain hats and,
Yeah, exactly.
but we're not the villains. Let's
No,
let's embrace it. Yeah,
but those guys are the baddies. We're the goodies.
exactly. We're the underdogs. After all, they have the more points.
Yeah, but we're not going to be the underdogs, right? We're not going to have victim status.
Oh, I like it. I like it. All right, over to you, Bridget. Sing
Okay.
out my name or just reach out on the private channel if I can hop in for any reason. But otherwise, I'll be learning alongside folks and I'll come back in at the end.
Cool. We'll see you soon. Bye. Okay. Hi, everybody. So last week we did that work on when you are declarer and you're trying to communicate between your hand and dummy. And I was absolutely delighted with how people were picking up on some of those ideas. This week, we're going to focus on when you're also the declarer, but you're trying to disrupt that communication with the defense, which is why I've got this picture of these cables here. It's kind of like they've got this circuit going across the bridge table where they are talking to each other, and you want to rip that apart if you can. So our first slide here, I've got this picture of Dexter. So Dexter is you when you're the declarer, and those two cats in the background are the defense. They're not your friends. I know in real life, people at the bridge table are your friends, but when you are the declarer, you've got to put on that other hat and think for a minute that the focus of those two cats is to try and bring you down. They're talking to each other and they're trying to disrupt you. They're saying Dexter is a moron. So don't be the victim, what we just said with Bajir. Try and take control. Don't let other people at the table treat you like that. So we're going to talk about some methods to break their communication. So clearly, defense have got two main objectives. They're trying to make all their tricks, and obviously they're trying to stop you making your tricks. And for them to achieve these objectives, the sort of things they have to do are try and set up their suits. They're trying to establish their tricks. They're trying to cash all their winners at the right time. They're trying to disrupt your communication if they possibly can. And they're also trying to communicate with each other as effectively as they can, which is what they can do with their signals and discards. They're trying to tell each other what's going on in each other's hand. So one of the most powerful ways of stopping them making their tricks, and that's going to be the primary focus of today's lesson, is trying to stop them making their tricks when you're playing in 3 no trumps in particular. We're trying to sever their communication. And what we're going to talk about is when they've led a suit in no trumps and you have to try and work out when to take your winner, normally the ace, and why you might not play your ace straight away, how it can be such a powerful thing sometimes to hold up your ace and break the communication. So normally what you're trying to do is you're trying to win your stop in the suit. And we'll do some examples with this on BBO and also on the whiteboard so you can really visualize it. But what you're trying to do is make sure that you use your ace at the right time, and it's normally an ace, at the right time to try and break the communication between those two defenders. So this example here, some of you were coming in on Facebook. I saw Bajir posted it on Facebook and we've got some great answers. So thank you for all that. I think Joey might have been the first person to come in with the reply here. So see this one, can everyone see the hand here? Fine. Just give me a quick thumbs up. I think you probably can because I can see it. Yep, thanks, Chris. So this hand here was the example that popped up on Facebook and I know some of you were looking at it. You're playing in 3 no trumps here. And they've led the 6 of diamonds. What's your big worry here when they've led the 6 diamonds? What are you worried about in terms of the diamond suit? So in 3 no trumps, you're always very aware that you can only lose 4 tricks. As soon as you lose 5 tricks, it's all over. 4 tricks only. So loss of control. Yes, you're always worried about loss of control in no trumps. And the other side of that flip coin of the loss of control is they have control. So they're going to cash their winners. So this diamond suit is a scary suit if one of the hands has 5 cards in this suit because they'll run diamonds, as Lisa just said. So when you're looking at these tricks in your hand, when you're counting them, you can see you've got two spades here. You've got the ace and king of spades, maybe the jack of spades, but you can't guarantee it. And you've got 2 hearts. So we're looking at 4 tricks. You've got only 1 diamond. That's 5. And even if you lose the king of clubs, you can see that you've got 4 club tricks usually here. So it feels like this contract can make, but the problem is if they get their 5 diamonds, if they get 4 diamonds, sorry, and they get the king of clubs, then they're actually bringing your contract down. So you've got to be careful about the way that you play this hand, and you've got to be very careful about when you play that ace. If you play that ace at the right time, you can disrupt communications between those 2 defenders, and they won't be able to talk to each other with their cards. They won't have any communication across that table. So I won't talk about the rule of 7 just yet. What I'm going to do is just pop up the whiteboard and just show you all so you can visualize it properly. Okay, here is the whiteboard here. So let me pop on the pen. Right, so say, oh, that's a bit fat, isn't it? Let's go down to this one. That's a bit thin. Give me 2 seconds. That one, perfect. Okay, so say they've got the king and 5 in a suit, and you have got 2 in the dummy, and you have got the ace in your hand like this. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We've got the right number of cards. If they lead this suit here, so they're leading this one, imagine this person here, West, has got no other way back to their hand. So they've got no other cards that will give them an entry into their hand. They've just got this nice suit here. If they lead this one and you win it now with that first trick, if you lose something like a card to East, so perhaps you're trying to set up a trick in another suit and East gets control, what's the first thing that East is going to do? You can see what they're going to do. They're going to play another one here, back up to this suit. Perhaps this would have been high from the shorthand, back up again, and they're going to cash 4 tricks here. So they'll get their 4 tricks and the trick where they've got control with the East hand. So basically they're going to bring you down because you haven't broken communications. But if instead, let's just keep it fresh with a nice new page. If instead you're very careful about the time when you take your winner, so say play here and they win, you can see now that they're going to play another one. And if you duck again and then take this winner at this exact point that this person is on their last card, then they've got no communication back to this person's hand here. And even if this person over here gets in, they can't necessarily get back to that hand. So that's what you're trying to achieve. Who's heard about the rule of 7, by the way? Just give me a bit of an indication about whether you've heard of the rule of 7. And we can talk through how it works and what it means. So Linda hasn't heard of it. Like all these things, rules are just rules of thumb. So not things to be blindly followed, but they can be kind of a useful idea. And it's a good idea just to understand it. Sheila's heard of it. So a bit of a mixture. Barbara hasn't. Okay, let's just run through what is the rule of 7 and how it works. So it's basically a rule of thumb which tries to give you an indication for when you should take that high card. So how many times you should hold up that suit. And I'll pop back to the whiteboard in a second and show you. But the rule of 7 is you count up how many cards you've got between your hand and the dummy hand. And then you subtract that number from 7. So say you had 3 in your hand, 2 in the dummy, that's 5. So you subtract 5 from 7 and that gives you 2. So the rule of 7, if you're applying it, is saying that if you want to hold up, then you should be holding up for 2 rounds. So you hold up once, you hold up twice, and then you take your winner on the 3rd round. And it's a really good rule if you need to use it. Like all these rules, sometimes it's better off not to use it because it might be exactly the wrong thing to do to hold up your card. So you still need to analyze your hand and work out what's going on and not just blindly follow the rule of 7. some people, some teachers hate the rule of 7. They say, I'm not even going to tell people about the rule of 7 because it means their students might stop using their brain and not actually process the information themselves. Other teachers teach the rule of 7 blindly, and then their students may stop using their brain and just use the rule of 7. So you want some sort of happy ground in between, that if you like to use the rule of 7 as a rule of thumb to help you, then go for it. But just be aware that it's not always a great thing to do. If I take you back to the whiteboard, I'll show you exactly how it's going on. Let's start a new one. So, well, with that last example, big fat K there. So applying the rule of 7, just to show you how it works, you've got 3 cards here. You've got 2 here. So 3 plus 2 is 5. So 7 minus 5 is 2, which is exactly what we did. So you're trying to win your ace when the short declarer hand runs out. So it worked for us before, didn't it? Because we ducked 1, that would have been coming from that side, duck 2, and then took it on the 3rd round. So the rule of 7 worked really well there. Say, let's pop up another page again. Say this time, the 5 card suit is normally what we're worried about. Say this time you have, that has to be the king, sorry. 2, 3, 4, 5. Ace, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so if you're applying the rule of 7 here, how many times do you have to duck? If you think that you're worried about the suit on the west, you're worried it's a 5 card suit, how many times would you duck using the rule of 7? So remember, you're adding up the declarer hand, adding that to the dummy hand. Yeah, she just come in with 1. Yep, so has Rosemary, Barbara, brilliant. Shauna's saying it can depend on the split, right? And she's absolutely right. It really can, but it just helps you trying to think if it's a long suit, how many you should duck up. So here it's 1 because you've got your 4 plus 2 is your 6. So 7 minus 6 is obviously 1. So you just need to duck for 1 round. And you can see 5, 4, that what have we done here? We've missed 1. If there's 2, sorry, you duck for 1 round. And then the next round, you take your ace, and that's when that the east hand over here has run out and no longer has a card to shoot back across the hand. Let's pop back to the screen again. So the thing about the rule of 7, and I think this is what Shauna's trying, yeah, thanks, Chris. What Shauna is trying to get at is that you really do need to think about the hand, and it does depend on the split. So sometimes you might be very, very aware that there's no point in ducking for a number of reasons. Sometimes you might think it's from a 4 card suit. Like if there's a 4 card suit and the other person has got 4, how many tricks is their maximum number of tricks in that suit if you've got the ace? So if you can visualize that. So there's 4 here, and you've got the ace. What's the maximum number of tricks that they can make from that suit? Anyone typing in? So 4, 4. Even if you had like 3, 2, if you've got the ace, they can never make more than 3 tricks. Once your ace takes 1, there's 3 left. So let's pop that on the whiteboard, for instance. Say they had 4 like this. 4, 4, 3, 2. There's no point, if you think this is from a 4 card suit here, you don't have to duck here because they're only ever going to take 3 tricks anyway. So it's a very different situation. But if one of those cards is over here and it becomes a 5th card, it becomes much more scary. So sometimes you'll have information that will let you realize it's a 4 card suit. And a 4 card suit is nowhere near as dangerous than a 5 card suit. 3 no trumps, you can go down 4. So that might be 3 in that suit. They've let in 1 more, but you can't go down 5 because then you're not making your contract. Let's pop and have a look at some examples, and we're going to work through these together, work out whether you would try and hold up your ace or whether you think it's better to take it straight away, and we'll talk sort of through the logic of it. Okay, example number 1. Okay, so we've got West here in 3 no trumps, and there was a spade overcall by North. So the spade overcall is critical. If you've got a spade overcall, you know that they've got at least 5 in that suit. So do you think you should hold up your ace here, and why? And then what's your plan for making the contract? Just take your time, study it, have a look. If we're going to hold it up, how many times do we hold it up? So you can see the 5 of spades was in the east hand. So you've got 5 between your hand and dummy. So west is your hand, east is dummy, and you've got 5 spades. Should you hold it up, and for how many times? Any thoughts? Got someone typing. Lisa's coming in. Are you worried about the spade suit? Got a few people thinking about this. Yes, twice. Yep, you need to hold it up. You need to hold it up twice because you are very, very worried about this spade suit. If it turns out, and we know that it's very, very likely, in fact, it absolutely should be, that North has got 5 card or more suit here, then if they've got 5, you know that the south hand has got 3. So you've got to make sure that when that south hand, the short hand, plays there too, that you take your ace on that third one. And so you would use the rule of 7 here if you wanted to, rather than using your fingers and sitting there with your fingers under the table. The rule of 7 could really help here. And yeah, they probably have got 2 honors too. Yeah. So you'll be thinking, if I take my ace here straight away, and then I start playing on my other suits, I'm maybe going to take the club finesse, they win it, they're going to immediately play back a spade, and they've still got communication between their hands. But if you hold up the ace twice, take the ace on the third round, then the south hand is no longer going to have any spades left and they can't get back across. So in terms of the play, once you've ducked for 2 rounds and taken your ace on the third round, if you're going to take the finesse in that club suit, which you need to, which way should you take the finesse? Because you can see that you've got 2 ways of taking the finesse here. The queen could be either side, but you can afford to lose the queen of clubs. Which way should you take the finesse? So Rosemary's saying from east. What do you mean, Rosemary? Do you mean playing the 7 up towards the jack? Or do you mean to say finesse east, finesse north? So what I'd be really worried about is that North has got all these spades. So they're sitting there with these bombs basically in their hand, waiting to explode them. They want to take 4 spade tricks. So if you took the finesse and played the 7 up to the jack and North actually has the queen of clubs, what are they going to do with those spades? They're going to bash them down. So they'll end up getting 4 spades, and then they'll also get the queen of clubs. So your contract is off. But say you know now that you've held up that south hand. South no longer has any spades left to get back. So if South wins this queen of clubs, how bad is it? It means that they've ended up winning 2 spades and the queen of clubs. But it's really not that bad. You don't mind if South wins the queen of clubs. So a lot of people refer to this now as being the safety hand, the south hand. You don't mind them getting in because they haven't got any power. They've got no bombs basically in their hand to explode. Whereas as Lisa said, exactly Lisa, thank you, North becomes the danger hand. That's the really scary hand. That's the hand that you just do not want to get in. I'm going to pop this actually onto BridgeBase so we can go through it together, including the bidding, because I want to do a bit of bidding practice today with this as well. Can everybody see the BBO now? Great, thank you very much. So let's make this first one a weak no trump one. I just want to, for people who are using multi-landy, I thought this would be just fun to come in with this one as well. So the open 1 no trump, which in this example, though your opponents are playing weak no trump, 12 to 14. Okay, so if you're playing multi-landy here, what you do is you bid 2 spades, and that would show that you have got around 10 or more points and that you have got 5 spades and at least 4 in the minor. That's how multi-landy works. It's a really good idea to have a good defense kit, especially against a weak no trump, because it's so preemptive. So if you can come up with good ways to describe your hand over a weak no trump, it's a good thing. And I'd love to do a lesson on that soon. Love multi-landy, says Shawnee. Yes, so do I. Actually, I really like multi-landy. It's one of my favorites. So this person here bids 2 spades. Okay, what would you do now with the east hand? And there's there's a few things that you can do here with this East hand. It depends on your bidding system and your agreements with your partner. So if they've come in and bid 2 spades and it's saying I've got a 5-card major and a 4-card minor, what do you think you would do with the East hand? Because you can't be bullied by the opponents. You don't have a stop, unfortunately, in this spade suit. So that's scary. I mean, maybe your partner does, maybe your partner doesn't. With people's systems, what are they going to do with the East hand? Any thoughts about what you can do here? There's a few options depending on what you play. Shauna says double. Yep. Some people would double here to say that they've got values, and that can be stay manic as well, like strongly suggesting that you've got a 4-card heart suit. Some people also play that if you bid 3 spades here, that is forcing to game and a stayman bid. So that's one option. So it depends on what you play with your partner. I play a mixture of both of those things, depending on whether I've got to stop to give my partner even more information. But a lot of people do play 3 spades here to say to their partner, I am forcing to game and I've got 4 hearts. Then West is just going to bid 3 no trumps. They are a wee bit worried about the spades, but they know that they have got to stop and they don't want to be playing in a 4-3 heart fit. So UCB, says Shauna, it's not a UCB in the situation. And the reason it's not a UCB, which is the unassuming Q bid, is because when West opens 1 no trump, they're not actually bidding an actual suit. So when you open 1 no trump, it's a bit like you're bidding all the suits in a funny kind of way. You're saying, I've got a bit of everything. So this is something a little different. So they bid 3 no trumps. And this is the hand we just had. We can show exactly why you need to hold up here and how you need to finesse. So they lead the king. Depends on what signals this person plays. Now they lead the queen, and you've held up once because you've used the rule of 7, or you've used your fingers. You're worried about this 5-card suit in north. You know you're going to hold it up twice. And there you go. You have now broken the communication. So you can see that south now doesn't have a way back to the north hand. So those 2 little spades up there are stranded unless that person can get in with another high card. So when you take the finesse now, this is the danger hand, safety hand point of view. So you really don't want north to get in. So you don't mind taking the finesse this way, because even if this person wins the trick, what are they going to do? So they know they've got spades in their partner's hand, but they can't get across there. They're looking at this terrible dummy, which has got these stops all over the show, and they just can't get back. So they're probably going to play a heart. You win it. And now you know you've got your ace of hearts, and you've got your 3 club tricks, and you've got your 3 diamond tricks as well. So you can see that just holding up that ace and breaking the communications at the right time really worked here. Pop you back to the slides again. We'll have a go at another one. Okay, example 2. So south is in 3 no trumps. There's been no interference at all now. So do you hold up your ace? And if you think that you are going to hold up your ace, do you apply the rule of 7? So have a think about everything you know here. So 3 no trumps with no interference. They've led the 2 of hearts. So you started with 4 in the south hand, 1 in the north hand. So if you applied the rule of 7 here, 4 plus 1 is 5. You would hold up for 2 rounds. So Chris is saying something clever. Everyone see what Chris wrote in the box? The 2 is a really, really key card here. When someone plays the 2, what's it normally from? Is the 2 ever going to be from a 5-card suit? It can't be from a 5-card suit if people are playing standard second and fourths leads, they're called. So if you're playing fourth from an honor, there can't be a card below the 2. The 2 is the lowest card. So you know that that hand with West doesn't have 5 hearts. So because they don't have 5 hearts, you know what's going on. It looks like there's 4 here and 4 here. So you don't actually need to hold up the suit. If you did hold up the heart suit, what would you be super worried about here? So say you ducked it, which switch could be really scary for you? If the defendants are smart defenders, they're like those two nasty cats in the back of the picture, what are they thinking about doing? What might they switch to? A club says so. Yeah, like they might think, okay, so we've won the heart, and now what we're going to do is open up that exposed club suit. So perhaps they've only got one protection in that club suit. We can knock out that ace, and then when you start playing on those diamonds, your clubs are completely exposed. So this is what, when people say don't apply the rule of 7 religiously, this is the sort of situation they're often talking about. If you religiously apply the rule of 7 here, you would duck when there's actually a much bigger problem. The hearts are not a risk for you. What is actually the problem are the clubs. So you want to take the ace in this situation, not apply the rule of 7. Let's bring up the hand in bridge base. And we can bid it again. So this time we are passing. I don't like opening balanced 11 counts. I tend not to open balanced 11 counts. So I would pass on that. I know a lot of people do, but I don't like doing it. Pass. Everyone happy with a diamond from North? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and a gorgeous diamond suit. They're going to bid a diamond. Then you are going to show your hearts first. Then they're going to bid 2 diamonds. These hands are tricky. You can't bid 2 spades here for most people's bidding system because it would look like you had 5 hearts and 4 spades. Some people have ways of dealing with this, but here I would just bid 2 no trumps, but worried about the clubs. And then they love their diamond suit and bid 3 no trumps. So you can see exactly what's going on here. They lead the 2. It is from a 4-card suit. So if it's from a 4-card suit, they've only got these 3 heart winners they're going to make. You're going to make the ace, and then they've only got 3 heart winners to make. So once you've knocked out the ace of diamonds, that's going to give them their 3 heart winners and the ace of diamonds. Whereas if you ducked it, we'll just try ducking it for a minute. Nasty, nasty. They're going to do this. And now suddenly they've got club winners as well. So this time we are cleverer than that. We're not going to use the rule of 7. Wait for those undo accepted to disappear. So we're going to take the ace, immediately bash out the diamond. And now they're going to take their 3 heart tricks, but you don't care. That's fine. You just let them do it. 1, 2, throw away that. And then they're going to take their last one. But now, because you've still got that club protection there and you've got those lovely diamonds, the contract is yours. So don't duck if you think it's from a 4-card suit, like in this situation. Oh, thank you very much, Shauna. It's good to just visualize it and you should just understand the concept. So just almost count it down on your fingers or use the rule of 7 or a combination of both. Let's take you back to here. Okay, we've got another one. So South this time is in 3 no trumps. There's been a heart overcall by West. Do you hold up your ace? This time it's the 5. So Chris said he was told not to use the rule of 7, just duck twice every time. The problem with that, Chris, is that sometimes you don't need to. So sometimes ducking twice, you might duck when one of the defenders doesn't have any left. So you've actually just given them an extra trick. I mean, it's going to work a lot of the time, but you can be a little bit sharper than that. Like sometimes you will just know that one of the defenders is going to run out after the first one is played. So if the first one goes, you want to take it straight away. But I mean, it's going to work often, but I think it's not as good as actually processing it, really working it and trying to think. Yeah, it is easy. It is easy. But if you just stop and think, you can often work out a little bit more. And sometimes you might just want to take it on the first one. So it does depend on each specific hand. So they're in 3 no trumps. Do you hold up your ace? And if you think you do, apply the rule of 7. So you've got 5 between the two hands. So you're missing 2. So I would definitely be worried about this heart suit. And I'd be really scared that if I took the ace, then they're going to start running their hearts out. So I would definitely be thinking I need to duck this for 2 rounds. I've got 5. Feels like I'm going to use the rule of 7 here. So 7 minus 5 is 2. So once you've won your ace, what do you absolutely have to hope for now? So you've clearly got a very, very, you've got a lovely, lovely source of tricks with those clubs. But what's the problem with the clubs? Fairly obvious problem. But the problem is they're going to win the ace of clubs, aren't they? So this contract, it depends really on who's got the ace of clubs. If the person who's got the long hearts has also got the ace of clubs, then I'm afraid this contract feels like it's going to be doomed. Unfortunately, it won't make. But if you've managed to sever the communications between the two defenders, if the defender who now has no hearts left, then if they get in with the ace of clubs, they can never shoot back to their partner's hand with a heart. So this is basically taking the way that the method that is the most safest for possibly making your contract. It's not going to guarantee your contract here at all. Might be that the person who's got the long hearts also has the ace of clubs, but then same with everybody else in the room. Everyone else in the room is going to have the same problem. But if it turns out the ace of clubs is with the person, the short defender hand, then you can hold up the ace of hearts, break the communication, and when they get in, they won't have a card to return. So let's pop it up and have a look at the hand. Whoops, I need to redeal that last one. Here it is. I think this one was a strong no trump hand. So it's quite fun to talk about these things. So I'll pop in some of the ideas from this. So if people are playing a strong no trump, they tend to play one of 2 things. They play better minor, or they play a short club, or they play sort of a combination of both. I think in this instance, the person was playing that a club can sometimes be as few as 2 cards. So they favor opening a club here. If you were playing Akol, you would actually open a heart here. But because you're not playing Akol, you have to open a minor, because if you open standard American or 5-card major, you have to have what's on the box. You have to have 5 in a major, which leaves them with a problem. In this example, they actually opened a club. I think this person with West did overcall. And then this person jumped to 3 clubs, which for them is just weak with length. When your partner opens a club, when you're playing the system, especially if the club can be 2, it's quite tricky sometimes with the club situation, because you don't actually know if your partner has clubs. But here, because they've got 6 of them, they know that they do have a fit. So they jump to 3. This person thought, I have to just tell my partner about my hearts. And then this person bid 3 no trumps. We got the heart lead, which was our 5. And now you see that you just need to make sure that this east hand runs out of those hearts. So they're going to play this one and you duck. Then they're going to play high from the short hand. And again, you duck. Throw away something you don't need. And then now, when you really, really think that that east person is going to be out of hearts, you grab it. Then you have your moment of truth. So you hold your breath, play the king. I mean, they may duck it the first time as well, but say they take it. You're now in a very, very happy place. Whatever they lead, you can get control. So they are probably going to try a spade. It feels like their best choice looking at dummy. So play 4th from their honor here, or low from an honor. You jump up with the ace. When you are the declarer, you should try and, when you've got 2 touching cards, always win it with a higher ranking one. So you jump up with your ace, and now you grab all these clubs. So the rule of 7 said duck 3 times. You had 5. So 7 minus 5 is 2. So you take it on the 3rd trick. And then they're going to take these ones. And you can see that you've got these lovely 3 clubs here and the 2 diamond tricks here. Lisa said, why? Chris says, so forgot Tommy's card. I know it's easy, especially when I've put one card on the screen. It's hard to see exactly how many everybody's got. So in that situation, let's claim the rest. In that situation, they jumped to 3 clubs as kind of a preemptive thing. So they've basically thought that their partner probably had a weak no trump. It's often what you have if you're playing standard American or 5-card majors 2/1. When you open a club or a diamond, often the hand that your partner has is the equivalent of an ACL weak no trump hand. It's a hand that's going to bid 1 no trump the next time round. So they're just thinking, I'm going to jump in and be preemptive. I'm not a very strong hand. I'm going to jump in at the 3 level after that interference and just try and break the defender's communication. So they bid 3 clubs because it's a preemptive bid. It's a weak bid. Let's pop the next one on. Let's go back to the slides here and try another one. Okay, this one is you're in 3 no trumps. There has been no interference. Do you hold up the ace and the king? So this time I have given everybody 2 stops, the ace and the king of spades. Do you think you apply the rule of 7? And does having 2 stoppers change things? What's your plan? Really just have a look at this hand and think about where the strengths and weaknesses in this hand are, and also what suit you're going to have to set up. So this is a bit different from that last hand with the clubs. So that last hand with the clubs, you only had to knock out that 1 club. You only had to knock out that ace. Where this hand, it's a little bit different, right? So which suit are you having to establish first of all? And what are you really worried about? This one takes a bit more thinking. You have to establish diamonds, but to establish the diamonds, how many times are you going to have to lose control? In that suit, yes, you're going to have to lose control twice in the diamond suit, which makes it really scary. Also, when you're missing 2 honors, how they normally split when you're missing 2 honors like the ace and the king? Well, how are you hoping they're split? I mean, it'd be very nice if East had both the ace and the king, but what's probably going to happen with these 2 honors? Yeah, they're probably in opposite hands, as Chris said. You've probably got the ace in one hand and the king in another hand. So not only has this scary hand with the long spades potentially got 3 spade winners, but they've potentially also got 2 diamond winners. So if they've got 3 spade winners and 2 diamond winners, your contract's going down. So you've got to think about this a little bit differently. If you only had to knock out 1 honor in that diamond suit, then you could probably just get onto it straight away. You can grab one of your spades and then knock out the diamond. And then when they returned another spades, your diamonds are all okay. But here it's a bit different because you've got to lose 2 tricks in that diamond suit. So it does change your plan. I'm going to pop it up. Let's bid this one as well. Bring up a redeal. It seems to do it on the first time. Great. Got it. Let me just check what we had for the bidding here. I think we've jumped forward. That's so annoying. I don't think I can bring it back. I can if you just give me 2 seconds. Hold on, because I'd really like to show you this hand. So I'll just quickly pull this across. I'll pop you back to the slides. Give me 1 second. Talk quietly amongst yourselves. Hold on a minute. Okay, won't be a minute. Nearly there. Because I love this hand. I want to show you it. Okay, I've got it. So let's pop you back on to BBO. Can everybody see this one here now? Oh, it's done it again. That's so annoying. It's jumped forward. Okay, we're going to have to go back to the slide then and just analyze it. So let's pop back here. So in this situation, because you are worried about the ace and the king of diamonds. Sorry that you're going to have to visualize this, but you do need to duck once, even with those two stops. So when you duck once, they're going to now play a spade back. So they play a spade back and you win it. So now you lose a diamond and they're going to win that with the king. And it's say the king is with the east hand. So they win the diamond and then they play another one. So hold on, you've ducked one. Oh, now I'm getting myself in a tangle. What I'm going to do is I'm going to post the hand on the chat and then I'll write through exactly how it goes so you can all see it. But what you basically need to do is duck the first trick, knock out, they play another one back, knock out a diamond, play another one back, knock out a diamond, and then they won't have a way back to the opponent's hand. Let's try this next one here. Pop you into here. And this time your partner has opened two diamonds. So say your partner is quite a conservative two diamond opener. He said, if you send me the hand viewer link, I'll add it to the replay in the lesson library for face. Brilliant. That's a great idea. Thanks, Bridget. Let's do that. Because then you can get a feel for it. Because I really like to for you to actually sort of almost see and kind of feel a touch of the cards, basically, to see exactly how it works. So here you've got a partner who you trust when they're vulnerable to open quite a sort of old-fashioned weak two. When I say that, the sort of person who would open with two of the three honors and they're vulnerable, so you trust them to have a decent suit. So they open two diamonds here. And the south hand was thinking, if this could work very well for me. So normally when your partner opens a weak two, you're not really interested in game unless you've got sort of 16 plus points because your partner's limited to about 9 points. They're saying they've got 6 to 9. So in this particular hand here, you're thinking, even though you've got 14 points, it feels like 3 no trumps could easily make here because if they've got the two honors, if they've got the ace and queen, and they maybe got the jack, which they do, you can count that you've got 6 diamond tricks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then you know you've got 2 heart tricks and a spade trick. So here sometimes, even though you know you don't have 25 points between the two hands, you know that it could well be right to bid 3 no trumps here. Feels like you've got 9 tricks. And they're often going to lead a major here because you haven't investigated the majors. It could go terribly wrong, obviously. It could be that your partner has got nothing in clubs, you've got nothing in clubs, and they find a really brilliant club lead. But here you bid 3 no trumps, and they lead a spade. So on this particular hand, should you duck? And why or why not here? If they lead a club rosemary, you're what I would call stuffed. That would be really bad. They're going down. So you're definitely taking a bit of a gamble here. So Chris is shouting out, no, don't duck. So is Sheila. Anyone else? No. So regardless of the rule of 7, I mean, if you did the rule of 7 here blindly, you're thinking, I've got 4 take away 7, duck 3 times. But you just need to win. Exactly. The objective here is for you to just think, oh my goodness, a lucky escape. I've got the lead I want. My risk taking took off. I'm not going to take any more risks here. If they switch to a club, it is all over. So here you're just completely ignoring the rule of 7. When you're in defense, you win with the cheapest one. You just grab it straight away and then play out all these diamonds. And then you are in a very, very happy place. You just cash. And you can see that 3 no trumps is absolutely not a problem. And they start to get very, very squeezed, these guys as well, which is nice. So sometimes no analysis is needed. Or you do, yeah, I suppose you could say that you've made your analysis and the analysis is something different. Or you could say that you would just actually know that there's an issue here. You're just going to take your tricks quickly. So in terms of the rule of 7, it doesn't apply if you need to just take your tricks quickly, which is Shauna's point. It doesn't apply if the suit's not really a risk, like if they've led from a 4-card suit, because then they're only ever going to take 3 cards in that suit. So be careful about when you use this rule of 7. But I quite like it. I do use it myself. So if I think that there's going to be a 5-card suit, which is scary, then I will use the rule of 7. I'll think it through. I think how many they've got. I use the rule of 7. I'll sort of see if it works. And it just helps me sort of focus and think about how many times I should be ducking those tricks. Take us back to the slides here. Also, something fun that I thought we would just talk about just at the end of the lesson as well is this idea of false carding. It's quite a fun thing. So this is not scientific. This is not like you're trying to literally break the communication. You're physically not breaking that wire that you are when you're holding up your ace and they've just got no way back. But sometimes you can mess the defenders up a wee bit by trying to interfere with their signals. I mean, some of you probably do this a little bit already. Who's familiar with this idea of sort of false carding and tries to give it a go? Ish, says Lisa. Yeah. Chris thinks he does as well. Yep. The key about false carding is it depends if people know who you are a little bit as well. Like if you always false card as the declarer and you don't always throw away your lowest card, some people will just think, oh well, Bridget or Chris or Kevin, or they always do this, so I don't trust their signals. But sometimes you play with people who are not familiar, they don't know who you are, or sometimes you false card and sometimes you don't, so they also don't know what you're doing. But the key is to be a little bit erratic with people that you play with all the time. So don't be consistent with people that you play with all the time. Sometimes false cards, sometimes don't, so then they never can trust you. Try not to be a consistent player with people that you play with all the time. But this idea of false carding is trying to make it look like one of the defenders has a different holding from what they actually have. And you can do that by trying to trick them with the card that you play. So have I got the example here? I think what we might do is pop over to BBO. Hopefully it won't let me down this time. Okay. 17, 18. And I'll just pop you over here. Can everybody see the hand here? I think this is, look what we've got. Can we quickly do this? This is our hold up hand. It's come back. Let's quickly do it. This is the one I wanted to show you about where you hold up twice. So I think we ended up, let's pop down 3 no trumps here. Pass, pass, pass. So this is the one where they did this. And so you have the 2 honors and you duck the first one, take the second one. Here we go. And then when you play up here, they can get back across to the west hand, but you've still got a spade stop. And when they do this one, you're fine. So that was the hand where you had to duck it before, even though you had the 2 stops. So hopefully the next hand is going to be the one I want to show you. Yes, this looks great. Okay. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Let's say that they're playing a strong no trump this time. So 15 to 17. So you open 1 no trump. Pass. So if you open a strong no trump, what are you going to bid here with this north hand? Very balanced. 10 count. 15 to 17 with the south hand. Just going to jump to 3 no trumps. So here they decided to lead the ace. So in this particular hand, how many tricks can you count? So with your heart suit, your club suit, diamond suit, which are slow winners, you've got to knock out the ace and the spade. So you've got 2 hearts, 4 clubs, that's 6, 2 diamonds, 7, 8. So do you need this queen of spades to make a trick? You basically do. You need this queen, this queen of spades to make a trick, or something very nice to happen in the heart suit. So when they play the ace here, do you want them to continue with the king? You do. You really want them to continue with the king so that your queen is going to make a trick. So these people here were playing high like signals. So they played the low one to say they didn't like it. So which card should you play? Just to try and trick them. Most people will just very instinctively just play the lowest one here. So you really want West to continue. Any thoughts about what you might play from the south hand? So Judith is going to play the 2. But when you play the 2, can you see what becomes very, very clear to the West hand if they're playing a high like signal? So if you play the 2, they know that their partner doesn't like the spade suit. So they know their partner hasn't got the queen. So you're trying to trick them. What you're trying to do is really mess a little bit with West's head and make West confused about what their partner's got. So Andrew's saying the 8, and I love that. So it's Trisha, Shauna, Sheila, brilliant. I think, and Chris, a lot of people coming in with the 8. Yeah. So if you play the 8 here, you've hidden the 2. So it's going to confuse West because West knows the 2 is out there, but what holding potentially could East have? So when they play the 2, when they play the 3, what holding might they have in the hand that could mean that they had the queen? It's possible that West thinks that East has got the queen and the 3 in the 2. So if they were playing high like, they actually have to play the 3 and really hope that their partner reads that as a high. So if you hide that 2, then that becomes a possible hand that East could be holding. And it's going to confuse West sometimes. Sometimes West won't be confused, or sometimes West will just push on anyway. But sometimes West will think, oh, my partner likes it. My partner's probably got the queen, the 3, and the 2. And then we'll continue with the king, which is exactly what you want. And now your queen is established and you can make your contract. So if you did play the 2, which people tend to instinctively do, oh, I have to take it back. So when we're at that spot here, if you do play the 2, it's very, very obvious to West. West knows now that their partner really doesn't like the suit. So it's quite a good idea when the defender has made the opening lead, before you play from dummy, try and just have a think about whether there is a potential for you and what you can do, which card you might play depending on what's coming down. If you pause and stop and think too long when it actually becomes your turn to play the card, then it's going to be a little bit more obvious to the defenders. Like West will think, oh, why did South take so long thinking about what card to play there? And then they'll realize that maybe you're trying to trick them. So try and think about this as the dummy comes down. Think if you think I'm worried about the suit, if they play these signals, then what would I play? So this is another good reason as well, is to always ask when you're about to play your hand against the defenders what signals and discards they use. Because if you start asking now, it becomes very obvious why you're interested. So ask before you play a hand, or if you suddenly get the contract and 3 no trumps, say, before you begin, could you please tell me which signals and discards you use so you can be clear how they are communicating with each other. If you're playing at the table, by the way, another tip, if you're playing at the table and they have played a card and you want to know which signal or discard it is, try not to ask straight away if you have forgotten to ask at the beginning. Because if you ask straight away about a signal and discard, it will immediately alert both of them to what they played. Whereas if you wait a while until they've played another card, say, then they will have forgotten sometimes what their partner played. So try not to draw attention to it usually. That's why it's such a good idea to ask at the very beginning what signals and discards they play. So here you're going to hide this 2 and you will play the 8 and really, really hope that you have confused your partner. Have we got time for one more, or are we getting Bajir popping back in? We'll bring it up. When we see him, we see him. So hold on, let's try this one here. We won't do the bidding on this one, but let's talk about how you might trick them here. So let's see, say we're playing in 4 hearts here. What's happened is you've opened a heart, they've overcalled a spade, then your partner has, some people play 2 no trumps here as like saying good 4-card raise. It's not Jacoby because it's no longer game forcing, and you've ended up in 4 hearts here. So when they lead the ace, what are you really worried about? What do you know that they're going to try and do? They're going to try and get a ruff, aren't they? Yeah. So if they play high like here, because they want a ruff, which card should you play? There's a little rule of thumb. The rule of thumb is you basically, if you like the suit, if they're playing high like, and you like the suit, you should also play a high card. And if they're playing low like, and you like the suit, you should play a low card. So here, they've played high hate. They don't like the suit. You also don't like the suit, so you also play high hate. Oh, we've got Bajir coming in. one more versus Bajir. Okay, so this is it's not going to confuse everybody, but here, if they might think, oh, why have they played the 4? The 3 is missing. So they might feel that that East has actually, sorry, the 2 is missing. Because you've hidden the 2, they might think maybe they've got the 4, the 3, and the 2, if you were playing the 9 here. So it's probably your best chance of stopping it. They might be confused. They might think they're going to give something away, and they might switch suit, which is exactly what you want. So the little rule of thumb is, if they play high like and you want them to carry on the suit, you should also play a high one. And if they play low like and you want them to carry on the suit, you should also play a low one. Or you can stop and think about it. But if you do stop and think about it, make sure you do it at the very beginning. Try not to do it at the actual point of making the decision, otherwise you'll give the game away. So have fun with all those things this week. Well done on the rule of 7. Don't forget to post any questions that you have on the questions for me. I love them.
Thank you so much, Bridget. Thank you, especially folks who could join us live. Challenging lesson, but really fun, really helpful. And I can't wait to see what this group does, putting it to action, hopefully this week.
Yeah, I know. And I love stories of the Bridge Club. Oh, hello there.
My son came in to catch the end of the lesson.
Oh, good on him. He must be getting very good at bridge.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so.
Fantastic. Okay, lovely to see you, everybody.
I better let you guys go. I'm getting pulled to the playground. We'll look forward to next week's lesson. Leave the questions for Bridget on the class page. And Bridget, I'll share the link for that hand so folks can play through, even though we got to look at it.
That's a fantastic idea. Really fun.
Awesome. Bye, y'all.
See you later, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye. Oh.